My 2016 and 2020 models are some of the most accurate presidential forecasting that you can find out there. Today we're going to be looking at what the same model says for the 2024 presidential election. Make sure to hit the like button and to subscribe if you want more content just like this. And so, looking at the environment right now, Joe Biden in the last election only won by just about 40,000 votes in Georgia, Wisconsin, and Arizona combined, while winning the popular vote by 4.5 points. So it actually was a pretty close election, unlike what most people will tell you. Most people will say it was a blowout, but not necessarily, because the margins that were decided in the three states were very, very narrow. If Trump would have taken these three states, he would have won through the House of Representatives. So, looking at 2016, Donald Trump won by about a mere 80,000 votes in Wisconsin, Michigan, and Pennsylvania. That was all of the margin in those swing states. And Hillary won the popular vote by roughly 2 points in that election. So that was also quite interesting. And now we are headed for 2024, where Donald Trump, according to accurate metrics, including accurate polling, is currently favored in the Electoral College and in the popular vote by 2 to 3 points nationally, which would essentially be a blowout, because if you look at the last election, this was a 4.5 point win for Biden. If Trump is up by 2 to 3 points, that's around a 7 to 8 point shift to the right, meaning states like Wisconsin, Georgia, Arizona would essentially not even be competitive, including North Carolina, Florida, Texas, Iowa, and Ohio. Those would basically be long gone. Michigan, Pennsylvania, Nevada would also be pretty much not even competitive at the swing state level. And states like Minnesota, New Mexico, Virginia, New Hampshire, and Maine would end up narrowing up, or at least become competitive depending on the trend in each state. Donald Trump performing well with African American voters is definitely not going to help Kamala Harris with state trends, including Hispanic voters. So, for example, looking at the demographic model that I've put together based on the most accurate pollsters, when you average out all their crosstabs, this is the result you get. You get Trump 328 to 210 essentially for Kamala Harris. Trump is winning all the swing states fairly easily, and he's actually even carrying New Mexico and Minnesota, and Virginia and New Hampshire are effectively toss-ups at that point. So that is something pretty fascinating. And because Kamala Harris does worse with working class voters, the problem for Kamala Harris is that her electoral college and popular vote bias is actually even bigger than Biden. She could win the popular vote by more than Biden, but still have a harder time winning the electoral college, because her support in a state like Wisconsin, Michigan, Pennsylvania, and even to an extent North Carolina and Arizona are actually worse than they would be with Biden on the ticket. She'd have to win the popular vote by more than Biden to actually even win the swing states. So that's also a problem for her too. That's why right now Donald Trump in the model is winning the popular vote by 3 to 4, and you see nearly almost a complete blowout, similar to what happened to Biden, minus a couple states, when Trump was up by 6 or 7, because Biden had a stronger grip on certain coalitions that kind of gave him a little bit of proof in the electoral college. Kamala Harris doesn't necessarily have that. When you look at these strong, indicators from Gallup polling, you're going to see, party identification and leaning. For the first time, the Republicans lead that, and that is a strong correlation as to the outcomes of the election. Party being able to handle the most important problem. The party who's leading on this issue almost tends to always win the presidency, and Republicans are ahead on the economy and immigration. U.S. satisfaction is at a mere 22%, economic index minus 28. Just to give you an idea, the max, negative confidence was minus 72 back in 2008. It hasn't been this bad since '08, and even then, it's still not even that bad. But looking at party being able to keep America prosperous, a 6-point lead for Republicans. Biden's approval rating is 39%. And we see that party favorability is, Trump is actually, or the Republicans are up by 1. And looking at party being able to handle America and keep it safe from international threats, 14-point lead for Republicans. I mean, that's just a huge margin, not even competitive at that point. And so looking at all these indicators and seeing how well they can actually track the winner of the presidency, it all but shows that we are headed for a landslide win in the Electoral College for Donald Trump, or at least a moderate victory similar to 2012 or 2008 in the Electoral College, rather than a competitive 16 or 20 election. There's a lot of behavioral signs from the campaigns For example, Tim Walz is calling for the abolishing of the Electoral College and that we need to keep the popular vote to decide the election. Now, why would you be saying that if you were in a good position? If you were in a good position, you wouldn't be calling to get rid of the Electoral College. That's because you're down in the Electoral College and you need the popular vote to sustain yourself. And even then, the popular vote's really not even guaranteed for you. Second of all, Kamala Harris and Walz are now doing a frenzy of interviews at the last second, and Kamala Harris is begging for another debate, meaning that she really, in fact, did lose the last one. Really, according to their internals or whatever decision their campaign made, they determined that that debate wasn't good enough for her and that she needed to get out there even more. And looking at this map, Donald Trump is in an extremely favorable position. Even Teamsters Union, the last time they didn't endorse a Democrat was Michael Dukakis in 1988, where George H.W. Bush just completely destroyed him in the Electoral College. And in 1984, Walter Mondale was the last Democrat to skip the Al Smith dinner, and Reagan completely blew him out. And you even see now Kamala Harris isn't even attending the Al Smith dinner. Donald Trump is attending the dinner. So there's a lot of correlations in the behavior of the campaigns. Also, an unpopular, incumbent with a subpar economy, very similar to George H.W. Bush and Jimmy Carter. Even the same thing as George W. Bush in 2008 when John McCain kind of had to fill in his shoes. Another problem with the Kamala Harris and Walz campaign, the issue with them is that they're trying to play moderate, but funny enough, that actually loses them voters. If they were to actually go completely full far left, that actually get them more votes than them trying to play the middle, because they're not going to win anybody in the middle. And then their older base, their more far left base is going to be like, well, why are you going to the border? Why are you doing this? This is not who I thought you were. Notice once they started to go out there and try to moderate themselves after the DNC is when her response bias kind of fell. That's when it started to happen. And so Donald Trump right now, in terms of the safe states, is up in Idaho, Utah, Wyoming, Montana, the Dakotas, all of Nebraska except the 2nd Congressional District, in Alaska, Kansas, Oklahoma, Arkansas, Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, Tennessee, Kentucky, Missouri, Indiana, West Virginia, as well as Ohio and Iowa. Those are also safe. South Carolina is a safe state, including Maine's 2nd Congressional District. That is also in the safe Republican column. That gives Donald Trump 149 Electoral College votes in his safe category advantage. Looking at Kamala Harris, she has California in her column. If we actually go look, it's about a 20-point win for her, so not all that impressive. That's 9 points worse than Joe Biden. You do have a lot of Hispanic voters that are moving to the right, and so that's why you would see that type of margin there. Vermont, Massachusetts, Maryland, D.C. are significantly closer than their previous counterparts, and that is actually it for the safe Democrat states. Kamala Harris only at 81. Joe Biden had way more than that. He had about 181 safe Electoral College votes in the last cycle. Texas and Florida are roughly 14 and 12.5 point victories respectively. North Carolina is about an 8.9 point win for Donald Trump. Georgia about a 6 point win. Same thing for Arizona, and Nevada is kind of in that 5 point category for Donald Trump. We even got returns out of Clark County, the first ballot returns, the first early in-person / mail-in returns from Clark County, and Republicans are actually already ahead in that county. So that is very, very fascinating. Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, and Michigan also all fall in the likely category of over 5 points. Donald Trump, essentially shifting the nationwide popular vote by a pretty significant amount, is putting these states essentially not even in the competitive category anymore. And Kamala Harris does lose in a significant landslide in the swing states. Oregon and Washington are about 9 and 11 point victories for Kamala Harris. Colorado about a 7 to 8 point win. Illinois, that's a 6-7 point win for her only, which isn't really even that great. Hawaii, 13 point win, so it is under 15, and it has been shifting to the right pretty fast. A lot of people won't talk about that, but Hawaii is a state that actually moves pretty quick to the right. Connecticut, New Jersey, Delaware, Rhode Island are also in the likely column, including New York. So those are all falling below safe, as well as Maine's 1st Congressional District. And then you have a couple swing states. New Mexico and Virginia are about 3 point wins, 2 point wins each for the respective candidate. New Mexico, if you actually look at the model, is actually only a 1.7 percentage point win for Kamala Harris, and Virginia about a 2.5 percentage point victory for Kamala Harris. The reason for this is because right now you see a lot of African American and Hispanic voters moving non-college groups moving towards Donald Trump. Every single demographic is shifting towards Donald Trump. And when you have an environment like that, that is not a good sign for Kamala Harris whatsoever. New Mexico and Virginia are just absolutely, getting competitive. I mean, they're not tilt states, but they are far more competitive than what you would think they would be, especially New Mexico shifting 10 points to the right. But New Mexico has the most Hispanics in the entire country, and so that's why you're kind of seeing that take place. Now, looking at, for example, we see here Nebraska's 2nd congressional district is actually a lean district. I mean, the polling there is just looking really bad for Donald Trump. So even though he's winning the popular vote by quite a bit, that district is trending really far to the left. And unfortunately, will probably end up being in the Democrat column for Donald Trump, or at least unfortunately for Donald Trump, it'll be in Kamala Harris's column. Looking at the final most competitive states, Minnesota and New Hampshire are narrowly flipping to Donald Trump. As of right now, they're very, very, very competitive. However, Maine is actually still in Kamala Harris's column, so they could effectively go either way. But this is where we're at in the Electoral College as of right now. Donald Trump with 326 to Kamala Harris's 212. Make sure to hit the like button and to subscribe if you want more content just like this. And I will see you guys in the next video.